In this video, I might get myself in a little bit of hot water with some people, but it's a topic that's worth it, and it's a documentary that's worth it. And so in this video, I'm going to do a review of Tommy Sotomayor's documentary, A Fatherless America. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Anwar Youssef Dunbar, and this is Big Discussions 76, Entertainment and Media. First of all, please like this video, please share it, and please subscribe to my channel. Well, on this particular channel, there was another video that I wanted to prepare and process and upload, but there are some parts of that video that are still in the works, so I'm putting another video in its place. And so I'm back with another review, and as I said in previous videos on this channel, with the movie theaters being closed, I've had to get a little creative in terms of what types of content and what types of media to discuss and review on this channel. And this time it's going to be a documentary, another documentary. A couple of videos back I did Curtis Schoon's Black, White, and Blue, and now I'm back with another documentary which deals with what's happening in Black America, but also what's happening in the United States in general. So I've decided to shoot a review of Tommy Sotomayor's A Fatherless America. And it's a very timely topic, it's a very important topic, and it's a very, very important documentary. And as I will describe, as is most of Tommy's work, Tommy did not ask me to shoot this video. As a YouTuber, part of what you have to do is catch the algorithm and get views. So I will probably, put Tommy Sotomayor in the title. I don't know if this qualifies as clout chasing, but this is, of all my 4 channels, this is the smallest one. So part of what you have to do as a YouTuber is get views to your content, but I'm not doing this per se to make myself famous or to try to ride his name. I'm legitimately trying to review his piece, just as I did Ron Will's book Nice Guys and Players, and just as I did Curtis Schoon's documentary Black, White, and Blue. So I had heard about A Fatherless America for a while. I am subscribed to Tommy, and every time his channels have gotten taken down, I've subscribed to his other channels. So I've been watching for a while, and I do consider myself to be a part of the Soto Nation, and that may aggravate and piss off some people, but it just is what it is. I enjoy his content, and I will discuss why later on. But he's been talking about finishing this film and this documentary for a while, so I'd heard about it, and then recently, maybe a month or so ago, I was watching him, and he mentioned it. He said, go and buy it. And so it just dawned on me, okay, you know what? I can watch that, and since I have an entertainment and media channel, that's content for my entertainment and media channel. So that's what I'm doing here. So I'm going to give my synopsis of A Fatherless America. So A Fatherless America, the documentary, it starts with Tommy reflecting on his own childhood, seeing that he had no father, and that there were a lot of other families in his community where there were no fathers. And one of the things I enjoy about Tommy is his honesty. And he's very, very frank and upfront about what happened in his own home growing up, and some of the decisions that his mother made. He's very, very open about that, and Tommy's been a bit of an inspiration for me in talking about some of what I experienced as a youth. And many of these things our mothers probably wouldn't want us telling and probably wouldn't want us saying. But I think much of this is done from a spirit of wanting to warn others about what not to do. So he's very genuine, he's very frank and honest about his own life and his own upbringing, and I appreciate that. In the documentary, Tommy travels the country talking to numerous people about their lives and the current legal system. Some of the celebrities and bigger names he interviewed in the documentary include Alimi Ballard, who I believe is an actor, and he talked about how, at a certain age, his mother couldn't chase him down because he started growing into a man, and he, stated that it's not a mother's job to put fear into a child and to be able to chase her son down and physically impose herself on her, particularly her male children. Bishop L. Kirk Sykes talked about how his first child, who was born out of wedlock, the mother took the child and didn't tell him where she was taking the child, and he searched endlessly for his child, and he finally found his son and adopted his son and took his son with him. He ran off some stats. In this documentary, he says that I believe 75% of black children have no father in the home. For the Latino community, it's 50%. And for white children, it's 25%. I don't know where he got those stats from, and I don't know what year that was from. So you might want to back check those. Tommy talked to Adina Howard. Those of us from the early 90s remember Adina Howard. Adina Howard talked about how she felt abandoned by her father and how that affected her later in life. Tommy met up with Tammy Roman. Those of you who've watched Basketball Wives or the second season of MTV's The Real World would probably remember who Tammy Roman is. She was married to Kenny Anderson at one point. She had stories about how she didn't have a father and how that impacted her dating life. That I have experience with that in my own dating life. There are real consequences when girls don't have fathers around early in their lives. Tommy spoke with a gentleman named John Dickinson, also known as Rosebud, who wrote a book, and they talked about how boys are raised by their mothers to endure nonstop dysfunction by the women they choose to associate with, and which I think that resonated with me to some degree as well. He spoke with a gentleman named Tony Gaskins, who was a motivational speaker that the NBA had brought in at numerous times to talk to their rookies. Gaskins talked about how the players who didn't have fathers really, really bonded with him, while the players who did have fathers didn't bond with him as much. Bobby Bowden, the famed coach of Florida State University. I don't know if Tommy interviewed him one-on-one or he just added some footage in, but even Bobby Bowden said that part of his mission as the head coach was to instill manhood into his players. Many of those players coming from Miami and growing up in homes with no father. Trick Daddy, the rapper Trick Daddy, I believe he had some words as well. I think his words were more about welfare and government assistance and what that does to black families and getting fathers out of the house. So there were a lot of interviews Tommy did in the documentary with celebrities and more known individuals, as well as people from everyday walks of life. The documentary is laced with multiple statistics discussing the effects of not having a father on children. So all throughout the documentary, there are statistics and facts and descriptions of the effects of what happens to children when there are no males and fathers around. Tommy discusses the abundance of anti-patriarchal propaganda that we are bombarded with, and that many of us are socially programmed and engineered to start to internalize and incorporate into our own lives. He talked about the pro-girls movement when Barack Obama got elected, during which girls were already outpacing boys in terms of going to college, particularly in the black community. There's a little stretch where he talked about the 911 memorial and the sacrifices that those men made for everyone else, and that the sacrifices of men, which we're often expected to make, are often not acknowledged on a grand scale. He talked about his daughter and what he wants to do for her versus what wasn't done for him. There's a part where they talk about single motherhood becoming the norm, and also how fatherhood has become trivialized in mainstream pop culture, going back decades. Some would even say that Cliff Huxtable, this is not necessarily said in a Fatherless America, but I recently heard that someone like Cliff Huxtable and other father figures in media were made into buffoon-like characters. So in other words, it seems that there's been a system-wide attack on fatherhood and patriarchy. Tommy took particular exception with the I believe it was the Hallmark ad where the actors were saying Happy Father's Day, Mom. So in other words, on a day when men should be acknowledged, there was an effort to also include women and say that women have been doing the jobs of men as well, or that women can do the entire job without the man. The documentary closes with a discussion of domestic laws and child support laws with a gentleman named, I'm going to try to pronounce this, it's an African name. It's either Dejute or Dehute Marata. And he had a lot to say about child support, and he went as far as to suggest that family attorneys are a major part of the problem, and they have a vested interest in seeing mothers and fathers split up, and so they're more vested in being part of the problem and not the solution. And he made the argument that the state has a huge financial interest in that as well. At some point, Tommy shared the stat that 70% of divorces are initiated by women. That's being discussed a lot today. And then finally, he closes it with a discussion on attacks on masculinity. He states, I believe, that women have options, and that in terms of reproduction, they have lots of options. The government wants to be the father. And he ends with saying that the partnership between both sexes has become an option as opposed to a fixed way of life and a necessity. So it's a much different landscape than it has been, than it was 30 to 40 to 50 years ago. And much of that seems to have been by design by somebody. And then finally, Tommy ends the documentary by stating that in mainstream media, there are very, very few stories of the everyday feats and acts and accomplishments of men. There's very little talk in our society now about the good that men do. And so as a result, there's almost an intentional system-wide diminishing of the importance of the roles of men in society, but in this case, more specifically, in the role of helping to raise children. So I'm going to stop this review here. I think it's worth watching for everybody, and it's worth thinking about. I do believe that there's been a lot of social engineering in our society and in our culture, and certain things have been engineered out, and certain things have been engineered in. I want to acknowledge and give Tommy kudos. And anytime you're creating something from scratch, it takes a significant financial and time investment as well, especially when you're not a major corporation and when you're spearheading it yourself. So a major kudos and salute to you, Tommy Sotomayor, for everything that you do, everything that you've done, and for creating a fatherless America. I highly recommend this for everybody to at least watch and think about. So I'm going to stop this here. Please like this video, please share it, and please subscribe to my channel. Please let me know what you think in the comments section below. And as always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Take care, and I'll talk to you the next time. Bye-bye.